August 31st, 1941. The departure of the 4th Panzer Group from the area of Leningrad, a process that began last week and that will be completed by the end of this one, sent a very important message to the staff of Field Marshal von Lieb. From now on, Army Group North could only rely, and exclusively rely, on its infantry forces for offensive and defensive operations. I mean, not that the terrain around Leningrad was particularly suited for the employment of mechanized forces, but still, the loss of the 4th Panzer Group meant that now Army Group North lost its only and effective spearhead. Which in turn, this means that the infantry of Army Group North is now engaged in a race against time. Because with summer nearing its end, and the fear that the adverse weather conditions could put to a premature end the Army Group operations, this week, as Army Group Center finally completes the preparations for Operation Typhoon, Army Group North tightens the noose around Leningrad. Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new weekly episode of War in the East 2. So yes, summer is, let's say, coming to an end, and because Army Group Center was still busy in getting ready for the last big, great offensive of the Eastern Front, I decided to combine two episodes into one. So yes, this week there will be just two episodes. This one, let's say, kind of combining Army Group North and Army Group Center, and the next one, of course, looking at what happens in the sector of Army Group South. Now, in regard to Army Group North, last week the arrival of the security divisions, we could call them the volunteer divisions, is, let's say, was very much welcomed on the main front line, because this allowed me, for instance, in the sector of the 3rd Panzer Army, to pull back from the line two infantry divisions, to have, let's say, kind of a strategic reserve in the sector of the 3rd Panzer Army. Even though you will see later on during the video that, and I will say it, I will just reshuffle around some Army Corps HQs. And then, yes, as the security divisions took positions along the main front line, the 4th Panzer Group was finally redeployed behind the 4th Panzer, the 4th Infantry Army. Now, I can say that maybe this was a mistake. Maybe the redeployment of the 4th Panzer Group was too late in preparation of Operation Typhoon, because I don't think that my men, the men of the 4th Panzer Group, will be ready in terms of CPPs already next week, when hopefully Operation Typhoon will begin, to break through the enemy lines. And as I said, I did some reshuffling around in terms of Army Corps, and I did also one big mistake. I think it was a mistake from my side, because I have removed the assault status from the 3rd Panzer Group, and I have assigned the assault status to the 18th Army. I don't know, maybe I should have left the 3rd Panzer Group as an assault army to just promote the, let's say, gain of CVP for the two motorized Army Corps of the 3rd Panzer Group. Of course, to the units belonging to those two motorized Army Corps. But in the end, I decided to promote the 18th Army to an assault army, because I was like, before the season, before the rainy season, the Rasputitsa hits, I want to take control of Leningrad. The 18th Army must be redeployed along the eastern front line and not around the Leningrad pocket. And so I said, fine, you know what, screw it. The 3rd Panzer Group is kind of demoted, and the 18th Army is promoted to an assault army. I had to reassign manually one regimented infantry division to the 3rd Army, because the 18th Army HQ was being overloaded in terms of command capacity. But this was, let's say, not much of a deal for me, since exactly I had the 3rd Army HQ sitting there doing nothing in Novgorod. And so, with by leaving one or two infantry divisions of the 18th Army in the second line of let's say of reserve, I began attacking with the rest of the divisions of the 18th Army the ring around Leningrad. Now, it was like I would call it a battle of the exhausted, because on one hand, my men were physically exhausted. They have been marching non-stop since June 22nd, and they had, at least many of them, had almost zero, if not 10 or 12 CPPs, which is basically nothing. On the other hand, the Soviets, they've been trapped since, I would say, the end of July, and I assumed they had nearly exhausted their supplies and ammunition and medical equipment and water and whatever they need to survive inside a pocket. And this is why I think that even if my units didn't have any CPP, they still managed to inflict quite some damage against the enemy divisions, because all of the divisions that I attacked simply surrendered. Sure, it was like a huge investment in terms of movement points for the men of the 50th Army Corps, but still, for me, it was nice to shrink and squeeze the ring around Leningrad, because the smaller it is, the better it will be for the 18th Army. And notably, I didn't say this, but the 1st Infantry Division, by attacking Leningrad from the north east, even entered the suburb of Pavlovo, reaching almost, let's say, the very heart of Leningrad itself. And with this attack of the 18th Army, the operations of Army Group North already came to an end, and Army Group Center, namely the 3rd Panzer Group and the 2nd Panzer Group, began their final preparations for Operation Typhoon, which meant that the divisions reached their forward positions, and even if, let's say, I could have done some better redeployments, I did my best to have a screen of infantry of the 2nd Army behind which the 2nd Panzer Group was ready and poised to strike. That's it, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Don't leave, because there is still one episode in which, as always, we have a look at what's going on in the sector of Army Group South.